G'day, Dan from VEG. So today I've been working with these raised garden areas that are screaming to be cranking in veggies, and my mate, and VEG's very good mate, Paul Ward, aka Speedy, came over, and Speedy knows a thing or two about producing food. This is footage from his garden I took earlier today, and him and his partner Kate have only been developing this garden for 6 months. So anyway, Speedy comes over and he's bought all these different substances, bits and pieces, and a mortar and pestle, and he showed me how to put together what he calls SCOF, Solomon's Complete Organic Fertiliser, to really balance the soil, get the microbes cranking, get the minerals happening, and this is how it rolled out.
1 teaspoon borax.
Yep.
1 teaspoon copper sulfate. 1.5 teaspoons of zinc sulfate.
Yep.
And 2 teaspoons of manganese sulfate.
Right.
And we put those into mortar.
Yep.
And we grind them up so that they're very fine, because they're the most powerful things in here.
Yep.
You know, if you go over, you can throw everything out of whack.
Yeah.
So that's the reason for grinding it all up, making sure it's as finely divided as possible.
Yep.
And then we'll mix that with something else as a carrier to distribute it fairly evenly.
Yeah. Yep.
So what I usually do is mix that with, first I'll mix that with the sulfate of potash, which I'll use about, we don't have it at the moment, but about 150 to 200 mils volume sort of measure of the soluble stuff. That is not the granulated stuff.
Yep.
Right, so we'll pop that into there. And with that, we'll put in a litre. Because it's the first time, we'll use a litre.
Yep.
I often use a half a litre, and this is kelp meal.
Okay.
So because it's the first time, we'll just do...
Go hard.
Yep, go hard. So I know where the litre measurement is on this little container. That's to be at there.
Yep.
Put that aside, that's the most expensive stuff in it. And then I'll mix that. Mix that.
Yep.
Then we put roughly a litre of lime. You can go over with the lime, more lime. It's.
So could that be straight garden lime, or?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. This is ground limestone, and just from the quarry that comes from, it's that funny colour, just because of the impurities in it. But it's important that it's limestone, not dolomite, because we're putting the limestone in to get the magnesium, calcium magnesium ratio right, and we want just the calcium out of that. Any more magnesium is going to be counterproductive, because I know damn well, just looking at the soil here, it's the calcium magnesium ratio is out of whack.
Yeah, not enough calcium.
Yep. So it's sticky when it's wet. It's puggy clay when it's wet, and it's rock hard when it's dry.
Yep.
And often big cracks. And increasing the calcium level in it will improve the tilth of it to make it more friable.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got our the trace elements are fairly evenly distributed through there.
Yep.
Then we go the rock phosphate. Now this is reactive rock phosphate. You can use colloidal rock phosphate, soft rock phosphate. They mine that up in Queensland.
Yep.
It's difficult to get in Victoria. I don't know where to get it. So we've got this Jordanian reactive rock phosphate. Use a litre of that, and if I can't get that, I'll use monoammonium phosphate.
Okay.
Which is probably the best form of phosphate. It's better than rock phosphate. And like this, naturally mined phosphate usually has a little bit of uranium and mercury and other heavy metals and stuff that you don't really want to be putting in.
Yep.
I mean, superphosphate is quite concentrated in it. Whereas monoammonium phosphate, when they process that,
Yep.
all that's removed, so it's a fairly clean form,
Right.
and it's a form that that is okay for the soil microbes. You just
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
want to use too much of it. So a substitute for this in ammonium phosphate is about 180 mils roughly.
Yep.
So you'll get ammonium, a good plant nutrient, and you'll get the phosphate, another good plant nutrient.
Yep.
So we'll put that in there, and it's not allowable by organic certification, but I go to a higher authority, the soil microbes.
Yeah. Certified by the soil microbes.
What's that?
Certified by the soil
Yeah,
microbes.
they're okay. And I won't put it out on its own. I always put it with a carbohydrate.
Yep.
So it's the microbes aren't stimulated by that and start chewing up the soil carbon. They'll
Yeah.
chew up the carbohydrate given. And this is copra meal.
Copra meal.
Copra meal. It's the press meal left over after they've extracted the coconut oil from the coconut kernel or the copra.
Right.
So if it was canola meal, I'd be using about 3 litres.
Yep.
But because this is lower in protein and therefore lower in nitrogen, I'll use 4.
Okay. And where did this whole recipe come from?
Steve Solomon,
Okay.
guy from
Tassie.
Tassie, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And how long have you been using it?
Probably 10 years maybe.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So we'll mix that up. See, there's a bit of the copra meal. It's
Yep.
been pressed so hard it's caked together.
Yep.
But that when it goes in the soil, it'll just open up.
Yep.
And you can actually just go down the nursery and buy this stuff in Tassie.
Right. This mix.
Everyone in Tassie's using it. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Not everyone, but
It's around.
people are in the know.
Yep.
It's,
Oh, it's starting to smell like coconut oil, isn't it?
oh, it's great. Love it. Yeah. Solomon calls it complete organic fertiliser.
Okay.
Cough.
Yep.
And I call it scoff. Solomon's complete organic fertiliser. Yes.
What is there a book of his? Is it a book of his or?
Yeah. In the Intelligent Gardener, he's got the sort of. It's been through several iterations over the last, I don't know, maybe 15 or so years.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, probably 20 something years. But this is the latest in
Cutting
the
edge.
Intelligent Gardener.
Yep.
And Solomon, he'll probably have another iteration of it later on. Say everything in my other books, ignore it. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
I found something that's better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
And is he like measuring plant nutrient levels and all that? He's doing the research.
Well, he's based a lot of his stuff on Albrecht's
Oh yeah.
research back in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
But he was an ardent follower of the Rodale organic thing.
Oh yeah.
And he followed it to the T.
Yep.
Ate out of his garden and everything. He'll you look on the internet for his story. Like there's a what is it, Cannabis Cultivation Forum or something. He has an interview with gives an interview with somebody and tells about how he lost a lot of his teeth and his health was declining because he wasn't getting the minerals.
Yep.
He was following the organic method all right to the letter.
Yep.
But he'll explain that
Yeah.
as to how he came about discovering Albrecht's work and his method. Well, recommendations for soil fertility and
Yeah.
so forth. Okay, so that mix there. Once we put the potassium in there, will be enough for 100 square feet or 10 square meters, which is roughly 3.1 by 3.1.
Yep.
it's a good measurement for a garden bed, 100 square feet or
Yeah.
10 square metres, like 2 by 5
Yep.
or 1.2 by 8.
Yep. Yep.
It's, yeah. Or
Yeah,
you
which
could
is
do-
about what we've got here, you know, between
Yeah.
about 1.5
Yeah.
wide.
So, I mean, you put that into, most of it into that.
Yeah.
into that
Yeah,
actually,
yeah. Yep.
So,
And will we put it on before we broad fork or?
probably broad fork first.
Yep.
So then put this onto 10 square metres, and you put about about 2 centimetres deep of a good compost on
Okay.
top of that, and you can just chop that in.
And how thick does this stuff end up being laid at that
Oh, it's
application rate?
Just sort of dust it
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
Once you spread that evenly over the 10 square metres.
Yep, yep.
And and I refer to that 10 square metres as a deciare, 1/10 of an air. An air is 100th of a hectare.
Uh-huh.
The air being the base unit.
Which is 10 by 10 metres.
A 10 by 10 metres patch is a great size for a veggie garden.
Yeah.
It's a good human scale
Yep.
to work on.
Yep.
And that should be in the lexicon of gardeners, I reckon.
Oh,
An air or a deciare. Yeah.
we'll bring it back.
Alrighty.
Sweet, all right.
So we'll probably cut it there, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Give it handing.
Went into an impromptu
Yeah, I
lesson here.
So what we're going to do next is we're going to give the areas a deep soak. We'll broad fork them using Speedy's amazing broad fork, and then we'll mix the special scoff in with some mushroom compost into the top layer of soil. Wet it down again and plant it out, and away we go, expecting explosive growth of happy vegetables and no time at all.